Anybody in the audience, online audience, if you have children, now's the time to scoot the children away. Children should not be listening to what I'm going to say in the next few minutes. Tad Walsh is the reporter for the Deseret News that covers religion. And he wrote an article. So Tad, I'm going to address you. I read your article, so did a whole bunch of other people. I thought it was a fine article. Of course, it was slanted in a certain direction. Many people said, Tad Walsh did a hit piece on you. I don't view it that way, Tad. I do have some problems with your article. Actually, one gigantic problem with your article. Here's the issue I have. You stated this. In June, the church released a standardized set of questions for bishops to use in interviews with youth seeking to attend the temple. Okay, all well and good. But then you said this, none are sexually explicit. Tad, when I read that, I said some things in my head. Actually, I said them verbally that I'm not going to say here. That is playing games with our children. That is throwing a smokescreen across the church, across the world, that we don't have big problems. To say that none are sexually explicit hides the total truth of all the sexually explicit questions we are asking. All what the church has said is that all sexual questions outside of the ones they've delineated are okay. They didn't forbid one, not a single question. There was not one single sexually explicit question that they ruled out. That should be in your article. What kind of questions are we subjecting our children to? So here's the whole truth, not the half-truth that there's no questions in their list that are sexual. The other half is, and we can ask any darn thing we please. This is what we are exposing our kids to, behind closed doors. The horrid shame that it puts on our children and other things it results in. Did you masturbate? That is horrendous right there. They ask my children, do they masturbate? That should never happen. No man. I don't care if it's the prophet. You do not have the right to ask my child if she masturbates. Especially at 12 years old. Do you masturbate? Do you know what a vagina is? You know what a vagina is, really? What were you thinking when you masturbated? When was the last time you watched pornography? What type of pornography? When was the last time you watched pornography? Does that bishop not even believe in the atonement? That is a horrid question. A question asked like that, we ought to turn that right back around and ask the bishop, when was the last time you watched it? Does the atonement mean nothing to you? What type of pornography do you want? Really, watch. We want the child to be describing the pornography they watched. Talk about shame. Do you masturbate while you watch pornography? Where and how did your boyfriend touch you? Were your nipples hard? When I think of what we taught to our children, an untrained man to a child behind closed doors, this cannot happen. This is a question that should never be asked to a child. Did you get wet? Where were his fingers? Where was your underwear? What color were your panties? What color were your panties? You know, all these questions are disgusting, but I asked, why in the world would you ask that question? You know what the response was? That question is neat. We asked that question in order to assess how much cause the girl had in this thing happening. Really, she was trying to entice the boy if the color was red or white. You idiots. We should never be asking a question like this. Did you orgasm? Did you orgasm? Do you know that once boys reach a level of arousal, they have no choice but to keep going? That they can no longer stop their sexual advances? Really, we have bishops that believe that? And we're putting that responsibility on our children? That is the total definition of a rape culture. I didn't understand what rape culture was until recently. But here it is, a bishop teaching a child, once a boy gets aroused, it's your fault if they can't stop. I just want to say, you irresponsible idiots that would say something like that to our children. Describe the sexual positions you engaged in. Can you imagine that? A girl or a boy, a child, discussing, here, let me tell you, they're sobbing, their eyes are they're crying their eyes out, trying to figure out how they're going to describe it. Did you engage in oral sex? Oh, crap. Did she orgasm? Did you ejaculate? How many times did he ejaculate? Where did he ejaculate? Did you engage in anal sex? Did the boy ejaculate in your mouth? I read that question, I cried. Did you put your mouth on her vagina or use your fingers? Did he touch your breast? Did you touch his penis? Did he penetrate you? To a rape victim. To say this to a rape victim. Did you like it? What did you do to egg him on? What were you wearing? Did you orgasm? It's not a cool thing to ask our children damn questions like this.